we know now that there is the CDC, the head of the CDC has basically said we have no idea how much coronavirus vaccine is in the country. We just don't know. We just never set up an apparatus to keep track of it. So, sorry. Here is Deborah Birx saying that there were Birx, I should say.
I like Deborah Birx, though.
Birx, yes.
Well, that's when she brings the hammer.
She was on CBS's Face the Nation saying that there were parallel data streams. In other words, nobody knew what was going on.
Do you think President Trump appreciated the gravity of the health crisis you were describing?
I think the president appreciated the gravity in March. It took a while after I arrived in the White House to remove all of the ancillary data that was coming in. I mean, there was parallel data streams coming into the White House that were not transparently utilized. And I needed to stop that. Where people
You mean outside advisors?
Outside advisors coming to inside advisors. And to this day, I mean, till the day I left, I'm convinced there were parallel data streams because
disinformation.
I saw the president presenting graphs that I never made. So I know that someone out there or someone inside was creating a parallel set of data and graphics that were shown to the president. I don't know to this day who, but I know what I sent up, and I know that what was in his hands was different from that.
That is so insane.
Right. So
she's there as window dressing.
Yeah. She's the scientist, and then he also gets the packet of make Trump feel better info.
Yeah, except for that's the operational one.
Yeah.
And, here's an idea, okay, with all due respect to the doctor. If you see over time that you are making graphs for your boss about this pandemic, and he's holding up stuff that I don't know, Stephen Miller gave him, or Navarro,
Scott Atlas,
whoever it is, some lunatic, and you're not being listened to. Here's an idea: resign. She resigned anyways. Eventually, resign. But let the American public know that he is specifically not listening to. You're there as window dressing.
Were you in favor of Fauci resigning? I don't know if I agree with you.
I think Fauci's role was more operational outside of the White House.
Yeah, but she was more sympathetic to him, too, it seemed, always, right? Birx to Trump.
I think the idea was that she is there advising him. I think Fauci is actually running an apparatus. Okay. And so her only job was to provide window dressing for him.
But if you really are convinced of the gravity of the situation, you're like, I'm the only adult in the room that can potentially get through to him. So that would be the
I guess you hang in there for an
process.
extended period of time.
Right.
Well, the important takeaway from this is that none of it was her fault and no one should be mad at her.
Right.
So
that is definitely her objective, probably on the media tour, right?
I should be on the board of directors of some major corporation right now. And of course, I did my best.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fauci's even being more forthright now. He went on Maddow's show and talked about how I was blocked from coming here for months and months because the White House didn't like the information that I was providing. So, I mean, we knew all of this anyway, but the fact that they're saying it publicly, I guess, has some value.
Right.
Although over 400,000 dead bodies might think otherwise.
Yeah, I would agree. Here is Fox and Friends trying to, I guess, I don't know, just make sense of all of it. This is, I can't even believe, I feel like I would be curious if they ever said the word super spreader event prior to Joe Biden taking the oath of office. But here it is.
Evidently, according to our sources, they're about to, the Biden administration, reimpose an entry ban all non-U.S. travelers, Brazil, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and 26 other countries of Europe. Okay, they're worried about the pandemic. Let me ask you something. Has anybody there been vaccinated? Do you think they're all wearing masks? Do we have any idea who's in this caravan? So if you're comfortable if you're not comfortable with people coming from the UK and Ireland here, why would you be comfortable? Why would you be comfortable with thousands coming by caravan?
Pause it. Go back a little bit. I want everybody to look at something. There's a little bit of a clue here to the disingenuous. When was this clip? This is from today, right? Monday, the 25th. This clip they're playing is from January 17th. There is no more caravan, folks. The caravan has broken up. I imagine some folks have head home, or they're seeking refuge somewhere else, but there is no caravan. But they need to like play this out and create the drama that it's coming for your second home up in your lake house in Minnesota. But continue. Just want to point out that.
Has anybody there been vaccinated? Do you think they're all wearing masks? Do we have any idea who's in this caravan? So if you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable with people coming from the UK and Ireland here, why would you be comfortable? Why would you be comfortable with thousands coming by caravan into our southern border, and you're not actually throwing anybody out for 100 days?
They don't have houses here, right? So where are they going to quarantine? He's going to have to
together
too.
All together in facilities that aren't even built yet.
And we had heard that with that particular caravan from last week, where there were 8,000 people, that apparently there were a lot of instances of COVID. As it turns out, those 8,000 only made it 27 miles into Guatemala before they were stopped and turned around and sent home. And you know how Guatemala did it? It used to be that to come into the country of Guatemala for people who are in Nicaragua or El Salvador or Honduras, all you had to do was show an ID card. That's all you had to do. That's why there were so many thousands of people, because they all had ID cards. Now, Guatemala is quite accurately and aptly asking for a negative COVID test. And that is one of the reasons they are able to disband these groups, because they are smart. They realize, wait a minute, this is a super spreader event, and the United States will not stand for it.
Well, I will say, I did hear they dispersed and are still making their way up. They're just not doing it in bigger groups.
Small groups, but nonetheless, to get into Guatemala, you've got to have a negative test. The whole thing is, as people in the Central American countries see Joe Biden dismantle portions of Donald Trump's immigration plan, the question is, how much of stay in Mexico and other things will this administration keep in place?
They don't want it.
Right now, they don't know.
They don't want the Remain in Mexico policy. He called up Obrador and said, yeah, we're going to end that. Really? I was doing you a big favor. You want to end it? That's fine with me.
Right, the cooperation between the countries.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the negative COVID testing, by the way, is a part of Biden's new executive orders for travel from different countries. Not the ones he specifically banned, but if you're doing international travel, he's requiring negative COVID tests.
And on top of which, of course, the countries that he's talking about have a specific strain of COVID
what
that they're
happened?
trying to...
I thought they were so in favor of travel bans. They were like, the libs don't like him doing a travel ban, which wasn't true. But like he specific, they now are, all opposed to it because it affects white people because it's coming from England.
Well, what could the difference possibly be?
I can only imagine. And what about the idea that that Kilmeade spent like 3 or 4 minutes building up this entire terror that is existing in terms of the caravan, and then Doozy comes over and goes like, actually, it doesn't exist anymore.
What I heard,
it could be secret caravans now, which are even worse.
No, we don't know. It could be stealth caravan with stealth caravan technology. I mean, look, they also spend a lot of time talking about how, they're not going to be able to afford to quarantine. They don't have homes, yada, yada, as if quarantining is the responsibility of the individual to do it and pay for it, and not the responsibility of the government that's trying to deal with this public health crisis. I mean, look, my friend just went to New Zealand to visit her parents, and the government put her up in a hotel for 2 weeks when she got there. Like, that is a thing that you can do.
That happens in countries all through East Asia. The same, you walk off the plane, they're just like, we'll show you to your hotel. Here's another idea. Like, if you're concerned, first of all, I love that they're embracing quarantines now over Fox. But here's another idea. we institute the Defense Production Act in this country. We start sending vaccinations all around the globe, including down to Guatemala and to Honduras. We take them down to the border, and you get a test and you get a vaccine.
No, well, the argument would be Joe Biden putting other nations first with vaccinations.
Let's do ours too. Let's do ours too.
I agree. I mean, but that's the problem with for-profit healthcare. So I'm seeing all these, concerned articles in the New York Times about how countries in Africa are not going to be vaccinated potentially until 2024, and how outrageous that is. That is absolutely outrageous. But like the existing structure of for-profit healthcare throughout the globe and big pharma, that's what this creates. I mean, like that's the result. There's not a systemic critique about this. Obviously, we're not going to find that on Fox News.
Where do I have that?
Wait, so Fox is so interested in having these people in the caravan coming from South America being vaccinated. Maybe they're in favor of kind of socializing this vaccine project. Maybe we should get them on board there.
So, yeah, and strict quarantines too.
Yeah. But then put everyone in hobbit homes, honestly.
Oxford University was going to, it's about 5 months ago, apparently, according to Kaiser Health News. Oxford University was going to open source its vaccine. And according to Kaiser Health News, and this was sent to me by Paris Marx on Twitter. A few weeks later, Oxford, urged on by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, reversed course. It signed an exclusive vaccine deal with AstraZeneca that gave the pharmaceutical giant sole rights. No guarantee. With the less publicized potential for Oxford to eventually make millions from the deal and win plenty of prestige. I mean, this is so twisted. In April, they promised to donate the rights to its coronavirus vaccine to any drug maker. And then somebody got in the area and said, like, but wait a second, think of what it's going to mean for your branding.
I know. Now we can be paternalistic and white saviory.
And now AstraZeneca does not have the ability to produce the number of vaccinations that they said they could. And the bottom line is, because Oxford wanted to get this sort of like this sheen, they sold it to a private company. The private company can't deliver. Job number one, profits. And where you could have had a half a dozen, maybe more, vaccine makers producing this stuff, now you only have one and you don't have enough vaccines. I mean, this is almost like, it's not identical, but it's certainly analogous to what happened with Katrina in terms of the buses. The story of the buses was there were supposed to be buses there, but instead of the federal government and FEMA doing this directly, they had contracted it out to a private enterprise. That enterprise had subcontracted it out. There was like 3 subcontractors, and the buses were, I don't know, sitting a couple of hours away. And these guys are contemplating like, okay, do we send the buses? Because if we send the buses and they're not needed, we could lose money. So let's wait until the last moment when we get the order for the buses before we send the buses. And then, of course, it was too late.
Or hospital capacity with COVID. Exactly what we're talking about with for-profit hospitals.
Yep.
Bill Gates got the vaccine, so that's all we really care about.
All safe now. That's good.
It's
all right.
Trickle-down vaccine.